Welcome, students, to the Dark Academy. Today's lesson is called The Dark Academy. Are you ready? Let's begin. You are at the bottom of a deep pit. All around you are people who have been here for a long time. They've lost hope. They don't believe they can ever get out. Some have gone crazy. You are not like them. You know that with effort and skill, you can escape this pit. But first, you need to understand the nature of the darkness all around you. You see that there are two ways to get out of this pit. The first is simple, but most are too afraid to do it. It requires looking directly at the source of their pain, acknowledging it and letting it consume them. Only by letting go of their false sense of self and embracing their true selves can they leave the pit behind. The second way is more complex, but also more popular because it does not require facing one's inner demons. This way leads across a rickety bridge over treacherous terrain. Some make it and some fall and never recover. So which path will you choose? In front of you are two vials, each filled with a different substance. The first vial contains Carl Jung's shadow integration philosophy. The second vial contains Machiavelli's strategic wisdom. Jung believed that everyone has an unconscious part of themselves, their shadow, that needs to be integrated for them to become whole. To do this, one must look into the abyss of their being and embrace the darkness. Machiavelli believed that to survive in a world full of deception and betrayal, one must be willing to do whatever it takes, no matter how cruel or ruthless, to achieve their goals. Both philosophies are dangerous, but when combined can lead to great power. Which vial will you choose? Let us examine our first patient. She is a narcissist who failed her training at the Dark Academy. She did not want to integrate her shadow, nor did she want to learn how to strategically navigate the world. Instead, she wanted to dominate everyone around her. She believed that her narcissistic fantasies were a source of power. Little did she know that her delusions of grandeur would eventually lead to her downfall. As we dissect her mind, we find that her primary defense mechanism is triangulation. She uses it to manipulate others into doing her bidding and to punish those who cross her. When confronted with her own mistakes, she blames them on external factors beyond her control. She is skilled at making others feel guilty so that she can feel superior. However, she lacks the true power that comes from integrating one's shadow and embracing one's true self. Instead, she is stuck in a constant state of tyrannical chaos. She believes that true power lies in dominating others. But in reality, she is nothing more than a puppet master who only achieves the appearance of power, while actual power remains just out of reach. Her greatest fear is that others will discover her lack of true power and mock her for it. Now, let us turn our attention to another patient. He is the embodiment of the second path, the one that leads across the treacherous bridge. Unlike our previous patient, he learned how to use his environment to his advantage, exploiting every opportunity to advance his position. He understands the importance of controlling resources and manipulating others to do his bidding. However, he paid a heavy price for this knowledge, losing many allies along the way. His methods are often ruthless and brutal, but he justifies them by telling himself that it was necessary to achieve his goals. He may have escaped the pit, but at what cost? These two patients represent two different outcomes of surviving the Dark Academy. One chose to integrate their shadow and become a master of psychological warfare, while the other chose to become a Machiavellian strategist who values power above all else. Now the question is, which path will you choose? Welcome to the Crucible. This is where you will be tested to determine which path you will follow. If you choose Jung's path, then you must integrate your shadow. This means acknowledging the darkness within yourself and embracing it as part of your true self. It is a painful and difficult process, but one that ultimately leads to greater self-awareness and personal growth. If you choose Machiavelli's path, then you must prove your ability to use strategic thinking to survive in a world full of deception and betrayal. This means making difficult decisions and taking actions that may not always be morally right, but are necessary to achieve your goals. The catch is that both paths will be presented to you as a single, difficult challenge. You will need to draw upon the lessons you have learned from Jung and Machiavelli to succeed. Here are 3 signs that you are on the right path. 1. You have a willingness to look into the abyss of your own psyche and confront the darkness within. 2. You are able to make difficult decisions and take actions that align with your strategic goals, even if they are morally ambiguous. 3. You show restraint when it comes to using your newfound power and avoid the temptation to dominate others. These signs indicate that you are successfully navigating the Crucible and are on track to graduate from the Dark Academy. Now let us move on to the final test of the Dark Academy. Here you will face your greatest fears and doubts head-on. We will introduce 3 scenarios that will challenge your ability to wield the tools of psychological warfare. Each scenario will present a unique set of challenges, and you must use your knowledge of Jungian psychology, Machiavellian strategy, and the lessons from your previous training to overcome them. Remember that the goal is not simply to win, but to do so while maintaining your integrity and principles. Will you choose to be a true master of psychological warfare? In the first scenario, you will be faced with a situation where you must deceive your allies. You will be offered a chance to eliminate a rival, but to do so would betray the trust of your allies and jeopardize your relationships with them. You must decide whether to prioritize the elimination of your rival or to maintain the loyalty and trust of your allies. In doing so, you will be tested on your ability to balance the need for strategic advantage with the importance of maintaining strong alliances. In the second scenario, you will be presented with an opportunity to gain power through manipulation. You will have the chance to exploit the weaknesses of a powerful individual and use it against them to gain an advantage. However, doing so would be morally ambiguous and could potentially damage your reputation and standing. You must decide whether to pursue this path to power or to seek alternative means of gaining influence. This scenario tests your ability to resist the temptation of easy power and to uphold your moral standards in the face of temptation. In the third scenario, you will be challenged to use force to achieve your objectives. You will be given the opportunity to use physical force or violence to achieve your goals. but doing so would violate your principles and could result in unintended consequences. You must decide whether to resort to force and violence or to find alternative means of achieving your objectives. This scenario tests your ability to remain true to your principles and to think strategically about the use of force as a last resort. If you successfully navigate these scenarios and demonstrate mastery over the tools of psychological warfare, you will graduate from the Dark Academy as a true master of this powerful discipline. Congratulations! You have completed the Dark Academy training and are now a certified practitioner of psychological warfare. Throughout your training, you have learned the art of manipulating people into doing what you want them to do without them even realizing it. You've learned how to use their emotions against them, how to exploit their weaknesses, and how to build an aura of invincibility around yourself. Now you have the power to shape people's behavior and influence their thoughts and emotions. But with great power comes great responsibility. It's up to you to decide how you will use your new skills. Will you use them for good or for evil? The choice is yours. Remember, with your new abilities, you have the power to change the world, for better or for worse. Use your powers wisely, and always remember the lessons you learned at the Dark Academy. So, students, today's lesson at the Dark Academy comes to an end. Do you feel like you have learned something valuable today? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to continue learning more about psychology and related topics, click the link in the description to access more content. Don't forget to subscribe for more updates. See you next time.